YouTube has become a very scary place as of late. Let's try to keep this episode advertiser friendly. Hello ghouls and goblins, welcome to a very special Halloween episode of Lucky Crit. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Fire Emblem Heroes Halloween banner, which is going to drop right after I film this video, so it'll be up by the time you see this video. We've got some pretty interesting characters here, and we just got their stats data mined, so we'll be able to take a look at that and kind of compare how these units match up to some of their other counterparts within the game, some other similar characters. So let's take a look. We're going to start off with the trailer here. So the first character we have here is Gentle Nekomata Sakura.
Look what the cat dragged in.
So Sakura is going to be a colorless unit, a dagger user, and we've been kind of needing a brand new dagger user for a while, a good one, in fact. And I think she might bring up the standard a little bit. She looks to be a little bit more of a frail version of Felicia, with a little bit more of an offensive potential and maybe some better skills for basically taking out mages like Felicia's kind of used for. So we will take a look at her base stats in a moment, but for the time being, let's look at her skills and what she comes with. So she has the Kitty Paddle Plus, which is effective against foes using magic, and after combat they're going to suffer defense and resistance -7 through their next action. So obviously a bit of a defense and resistance debuff right there for mage enemies. So clearly she's going to be a mage killer type of unit. She's got Glockius, which boosts damage dealt by 80% of her res, and so clearly that kind of implies that she's going to have some pretty solid resistance, but we'll see that in a moment. Warding Stance is going to give her an extra +6 res when she gets attacked, so clearly beefing up that resistance for fighting mages. She's also got Guard. This is like the very definition of like a defensive mage killing unit. She's pretty frail. She's kind of a glass cannon in terms of her stats, but this stuff kind of helps beef her up a little bit more, and I guess without power creeping too hard, allows her to keep that good offensive potential too. So Guard is going to give her, obviously when her HP is over 80%, they're going to be inflicted with special cooldown charge -1, which is pretty nice for a more defensive enemy phase baiting unit. And then she's also got Dagger Valor 3, so obviously boosting the SP by 2 times for any dagger units that you train alongside her in a match. So that's going to be pretty interesting as far as she goes. So our first colorless unit in the banner. So before we take a look at the stats, I do want to preface this by saying that these are the assumed stats. We don't know 100% for certain just yet that these will be the exact stats when the character launches. But this is basically going to be an example of what a neutral Sakura should be when the banner actually goes live. And we're looking at 33 HP, 40 attack, 34 speed, 14 defense, and 34 resistance. So I wrote down some notes here. As far as Sakura goes, she's got less resistance than Felicia. She's a little bit slower, but obviously she has more offense than Felicia. And with some of her skills that she comes with, she's going to be basically a better mage killer than Felicia, which kind of makes Felicia even less relevant than she was before, which is kind of sad because I don't like seeing other characters kind of thrown into the dust. Maybe we'll get another Felicia eventually that's a kind of a better version, but honestly, I kind of don't like that. I don't like it when they kind of retcon previous units and make, you know, a better version. However, we did need kind of a revamp as far as dagger users go. We definitely need a revamp as far as healers go, but clearly, you know, we haven't seen a healer in about 5 or 6 months or something like that, so they're just not even touching that yet. So, but hopefully that's something that we can look forward to in the future, but for the time being right now, not going to happen. So Sakura actually does look like a pretty solid unit overall. She's going to be good at baiting, tanking, and killing mages. Obviously, she's going to be pretty frail in the defense, so you don't want her to get attacked by any means. So in terms of how she stacks up against Kagero, who is essentially the best ninja in the game, Sakura is a faster and more frail version of Kagero with the same attack. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, she's not going to come with the poison dagger that Kagero comes with to be effective against infantry, but she will be pretty strong in her own right. It is nice to see that she's got that 40 attack base stat, so she's going to be quite good, I think. Next up, we have the devoted monster, Jakob. Now, Jakob is going to be a super interesting unit. He is our first Armor Emblem Archer unit, so he is an Armored Archer. He comes with the Monstrous Bow Plus, which is effective against flyers, and after combat, bonuses become penalties on all foes within 2 spaces through the foe's next action. So a little bit of an AoE debuff after he attacks somebody, which is pretty interesting. He comes with Ignis as a special, so boost damage dealt by 80% of his defense, so clearly he's going to be a little bit defensively tanky. He's got Bracing Blow 2, which grants defense and res +4 if he initiates the attack. So clearly we're looking at a little bit of a more tanky archer here, most likely. And then he has Wary Fighter 3, which prevents follow-up attacks in combat from unit and foes if HP is over 50%. So you can kind of tell with the way that his build is going right here, he's probably not going to be very fast as a unit, but he is looking to be at least a little bit tanky. So now if we take a look at his base stats, we're looking at 42 HP, 47 attack, 23 speed, 33 defense, and 32 resistance. So like I said, the speed's a little bit low at 23, but he's got pretty solid attack, and his defenses aren't bad either. They're pretty solid, actually. So he's looking to be a pretty interesting addition to Armor Emblem. As far as builds go, you might want to slap like a Brave Bow on him, potentially. He's not going to be quadding anybody with that 23 speed, but perhaps you can get the double out of him if you don't want to go the Wary Fighter route and keep that skill on him. There's a pretty decent amount of potential here as far as possibilities go. He doesn't really have that huge weakness as far as defenses because it's his speed that's taking the hit here. So he looks like a pretty much a ranged version of Sheena as far as his defenses go, because she's kind of on the slower side too. Overall, he's a little bit less tanky than her, but he trades that for a little bit more attack than what Sheena comes with. So right out of the gate, she's got 41 attack. Jakob here has 47. Sheena has 45 HP. He's got 42. She comes with 2 higher speed than him, 3 higher defense, and 1 higher resistance. But that's pretty interesting because Sheena's biggest problem is her speed, and in this case, he's got the 23 speed as well, so he kind of took the same hit that she took there. So like I said, maybe you want to go with a Brave Bow build here. Perhaps the Monstrous Bow could yield you some nice debuffs if you want to stick with that. But this is a pretty interesting character for Armor Emblem. Next up, we've got the Happy Vampire, Henry. Now, a lot of people were hoping that Arvis would indeed be our first Armored Mage unit, but he doesn't really start off as an Armored Mage in genealogy, so that didn't really make sense. They tend to go with the sort of first iterations of characters before they go with the later versions. So this is going to be our first Armored Mage. He comes with the Spectral Tome Plus. After combat, bonuses become penalties on all foes within 2 spaces through foe's next action. Pretty okay might here on the Spectral Tome, and it does have that debuff that we just saw on Jakob. He's got Reprisal, so pretty quick special here at 2 charge. 30% of damage suffered is going to be a bonus onto his damage. He's got Live for Honor, so he's also got the badge multiplication skill here, 1.5 times for the badges at the end of a map. This was on Spring Xander previously, so it's nice to see more characters get this skill. Now that we have the Sacred Seal Forge going on, badges are a lot more important than they ever were in the game. So this is nice to see. You can basically get 1.5 times the amount of badges that you would usually get to sort of increase that if you want to be able to upgrade or create new seals and you don't have enough badges for that. So that's cool. And this is also going to be our second unit that has Armor March, which I'm really happy about, because before this was a skill that was only locked to Amelia, basically. That was the first unit that we ever got that had this skill. So it's nice to see that Henry is also going to come with it. So this is a really, really solid addition for an Armor Emblem team. I mean, not only does this help you to round out your sort of roster with the Armor Emblem and give you a mage for Armor Emblem, he's also going to come with the Armor March. So if you didn't get Amelia, no big deal. You might be able to make it work without her. As for another green that you could use aside from her if you don't have Hector, there's not too many options. Perhaps you can use Sheena. She has some pretty solid defenses, but she is going to be pretty similar to units like Jakob. So if you have Jakob and Henry on the team alongside Sheena, not sure how well that's going to work out, but basically it is nice to see another unit with Armor March. I'm pretty stoked about that. I like to see that that skill is becoming a little bit more commonplace. He is, at the end of the day, a limited unit, so he's not going to be around forever, but at least we have another option to use it now. As far as his stats go, he's looking pretty beefy as well. He's got 36 HP, 45 attack, 34 speed, 26 defense, and 36 resistance. So clearly his worst stat here is going to be the defense. You probably want a minus defense plus speed on Henry here, because that speed is going to really help him in the long run. Very solid attack, very good resistance. He's definitely not going to be blown up by mages too easily, and that speed is definitely going to prevent him from being doubled by a lot of mages. Maybe not the most speedy mages in the game, but it's pretty solid, honestly. So he's looking to be a really, really great addition to Armor Emblem. I would really like to see Armor Emblem become a more common team instead of just sort of Horse Emblem ruling everything. And we have another unit here that's going to also spread out, hopefully, what you come across in Arena and stuff like that. So I'm pretty stoked with this banner. I think overall they could have gotten a little bit more creative with a lot of the costumes that they have here. They're pretty basic and pretty simple. I mean, just from the silhouettes that they released earlier, it was pretty clear that we were going to get Henry, because he had the feathers around him and his hairstyle was pretty similar. And he had the coffin, so it was kind of a giveaway that he'd probably be an armored unit. So it's not that surprising, but overall I like what they've done as far as these unit builds and these stats go. And they don't seem too overpowered, too power creeped, like we had Ayra that everybody was kind of upset about. And even though she doesn't break the game, it's just kind of basically introducing more S or S plus tier units that kind of make other units, you know, in the case of Ayra, units like Lonku are sort of super irrelevant now with characters like her out, who gets basically a special that is built in that's based off of her speed, as well as that legendary weapon. So unfortunately, that power creep is becoming more real, and intelligence systems have also been pretty rude lately with these banners. I mean, how many good banners have there been? We've had the genealogy banner that's ending tonight as I'm filming this. We have the performing arts banner with all the dancers. That's also ending tonight. That was a really good banner. Hopefully you guys pulled from that and got the characters you wanted. I managed to get Inigo and Azura. I kind of wanted the Olivia, but going through colorless hell is just too daunting. I don't want to do that anymore if I can avoid it. But imagine all the orbs you've already spent on those banners. Then we got a nice Hinoka banner finally this week, which I was hoping to pull from and see if I can get a Hinoka so that I could like attempt to put together a Flier Emblem team, because she is the only character so far before this banner that's going to have Hone Flyers, which is a very important skill for that team build. So basically you need Hinoka if you want to run a really solid Fire Emblem team. And that was basically a bait banner, because in this banner the next character is going to have Home Flyers as well. So that's pretty rude. And now this banner comes out and basically slams us again with a whole bunch of more limited characters to have to pull for. And even though, you know, November is going to be this week, so we will have more opportunities to get a lot more orbs, that's like a quadruple whammy right there in terms of what they just did as far as orbs go. So honestly, not too thrilled about that. But let's move on and let's talk about the last character here. And we're looking at the Eternal Witch Nowi. So like I predicted in the original Halloween video where we speculated about what we might see for Halloween here, which you can check out up here, they did in fact give us a red flying witch character, and that's going to be this version of Nowi here. A lot of people were concerned about her artwork and how it's a little bit risque, even though she's, you know, technically a pretty old dragon character that just happens to be a lolly at the same time. But I saw that some people were going on Twitter and kind of giving the artist crap for this art because they didn't like it, or they thought it was too risque or questionable. And honestly, guys, that's kind of rude. I know I don't think anybody in my audience would do that, but going onto Twitter and like attacking the artist because you didn't like some of the choices they made with the art, that's... Come on, guys, don't do that. Some people I even saw tweeted like a censored version of Nowi, and it actually looked pretty good as far as censored versions go, but you're gonna tweet that at the artist too? Come on. That's like looking at someone and being like, nah, man. Nah. That's what you want. Just kind of rude. But I know that you guys wouldn't do that. It's probably just some random people on Twitter. Anyway, don't attack artists. Come on. So as far as what she comes with here, she has the Grimoire. So if she has over 50% HP, she can move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit similar to the sort of guidance type of skills that we've had before. So pretty useful. Might allow her to get around certain things or make some interesting movements in certain situations, so that's kind of cool. She's got Reposition, a brand new A skill, and Attack and Res Bond 3. So grants attack and res +5 to this unit during combat if she's adjacent to an ally. So if you have anybody next to her, she's going to get that buff, kind of like the Owl Tomes a little bit, but a bit stronger here, which I think is pretty interesting. She's got Live for Bounty, which is going to multiply the amount of crystals that you get from training tower maps by 1.5 times. So if you need more crystals to level up weaker units or anything like that, that's going to be a good unit to have on your team to help train them up. So nice utility skill. And she's also got Hone Flyers. So this is the second unit in the game that comes with Hone Flyers, and that's pretty solid. But the thing is, she's going to want the Hone Flyers on herself. We'll take a look at her stats in a moment, but she will want that, so you kind of still need somebody else to be buffing her. But it is nice that she comes with that, so she's going to help out your other Flyer units for sure as well. So as far as stats go, we're looking at 34 HP, 48 attack, 32 speed, 20 defense, and 27 resistance. And as far as comparing her to some of the other Flyers that we've gotten in the past, like Spring Camilla and Summer Corrin, she is a little bit more frail but has more resistance than Spring Camilla, and she's a bit speedier and stronger than Spring Camilla actually, which is pretty interesting. And she also has more attack than Corrin, is slightly slower than Corrin, more res and less defense than Corrin. So pretty similar, a little bit more frail in some cases, but pretty solid. I'm pretty impressed with the stats. I'm glad it's not super power creeped. Sometimes, like I said before, they have been going pretty power creep with some of these units. I'm glad she's not like totally power creeped. She's pretty similar to the other two, just a couple, you know, switched up stats here and there. But I think as long as you can get the Hone Flyers off on her, she's going to be a pretty solid unit. If you can go with the plus speed, if you can get her with plus speed, that's obviously going to help. Maybe minus defense, because her defense is the worst stat she's got by far. but I think she's going to be super interesting. I can't wait to pull for her. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this banner. I'm pretty satisfied with what they came up with. Obviously, you know, we could have gotten some more creative costumes and stuff. I had some really good ideas sent to me from you guys. But overall, I am happy with the banner. They kind of juked us a bit because a lot of us thought that that performing arts banner was actually going to be basically the Halloween banner. But as we started approaching the end of that banner, it became pretty clear that since that banner was ending right before Halloween, there was still the potential of them giving us a Halloween banner that, even though, you know, Halloween's going to pass pretty fast, and this banner will probably be around till about, you know, Thanksgiving time, it was still possible. So I kind of was wondering if they were going to go this route. I'm glad to see that they did, because I am stoked about Halloween characters in the game. I wasn't really satisfied with the performing arts characters as like the Halloween replacement. Those are good, cool characters, but I wanted some Halloween characters, so I'm glad to see this. So I'm pretty happy about that, but it's kind of rude as far as like, you know, the amount of orbs that we've already spent on all those banners. Basically, those were the bait banners for this, and that Hinoka banner this week was totally a bait banner. I mean, I would like a Hinoka. It's going to be useful if you guys pulled her from that banner. It's not bad if you pulled her, but if you spent orbs on that banner hoping to get her, you might be kind of screwed over for this banner, unfortunately. But like I said, we will be getting, you know, more orbs and more potential for orbs later this week with the new November quests, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Do me a favor and leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and let me know how you feel about this banner or these characters. Are you excited about it? Are you concerned with the art controversy with Nowi? I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, a big shout out to our supporters over on Patreon who help make videos like this one possible. And for further discussion, you can also join our Discord server by checking out the link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you in the next episode.